Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Midnight All Things Books and Publishing. We are Midnight Publishing. I am Yvonne Mason, and my other host is Mary Brotherton. And our guest today is the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Sheri Ann Richerson. The backstory of Sheri Ann is I've known her for quite a while. I have watched her grow. I have watched things happen for her that I don't even think she realized was going to happen. Yesterday, we did a workshop on trusting the process and letting go. And when Sheri sent me her book, The Chocolate Lover's Garden, which was 25 years sitting on a shelf, there it is. She not only trusted the process and let it, isn't that gorgeous? She not only trusted the process and let it go, she has soared. When I think of Sheri soaring, I go back to the commercial that was just aired over the weekend. I cannot explain, Sheri, how proud I am and how humbled I am that God allowed us this format so that you could be you, do you, and soar. So, with that being said, I'm going to let Sheri tell her story and tell you all how she got here. Welcome, Sheri.
Thank you.
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. I was first published in 1981. I was a child. We lived in Austin, Texas, and my mother thought it was a good idea to send me to the library to an adult writing group over the summer so that I had something to do. We had just moved there, and they published a book and chose one of the poems that I wrote to be in that book. Fast forward to high school. I took a creative writing class and a journalism class sophomore year. The creative writing teacher said that I could not write, I would never be published, and that I just needed to give this up. The journalism teacher was so excited to have me. Had I not moved senior year, I would have been editor of the Smoke Signal. I wrote an article in January of 1986 on AIDS that was the center spread of the school newspaper. And you want to talk about commotion. My mother had to go in front of the school board because the vice principal did not agree that that article belonged in a high school newspaper. I
Oh,
disagreed. It very much belonged there because there was Ryan White that was just over in Kokomo, which was maybe 45 minutes away from us. It was a hot topic. It was something that all of us in high school really needed to know about going forward, and I worked with the Mayo Clinic for all the research on that article. I spent that summer at a journalism camp at Ball State University that the school and my grandmother paid to send me to. Senior year, I did a center spread at the new school on crack because that was, again, a very hot topic that everybody needed to know about. My plan had been to go into journalism. It did not happen that way. I tried to go to college. $100 short of the $10,000 that I needed. All of my money was scholarship. I could not get the 1,200 because my parents refused to fill out financial aid forms, so I had to drop out, which was okay. It was and it wasn't. I thought it was the end of things for me at that point, but I kept writing. Gosh, I think it was 1996 when I got online. So I want to say 1997 maybe. Um I saw an ad, someone looking for a woman who rode a Harley Davidson that could write. And I replied, thought it was just this man wanting stuff for his website. Um, when Y2K came around, I found out that I was actually writing for Harley Davidson. And when he told me that, I was scared. I did not want to send my article in. My brain kept saying what I had heard in my creative writing class. I wasn't good enough. I sent it in anyway, and I waited with bated breath, and it was approved. One change, and the change was a quote that I got from one of their mechanics. And the lawyer did not want that in the article, so it was pulled. But Tony kept me writing online, different websites that he worked on. I signed up for Suite 101. I wrote on tropical and exotic plants. And things kind of snowballed from there. I joined Webseed, and I also wrote about tropical and exotic plants, Bella Online, plants and spas. I just kept anything that was open that I could get my foot in the door, I did. My first actual books was anthologies for Llewellyn. They saw my writing and contacted me, and I said yes. Then I went to Life Tips and did some books, and then I was picked up by Penguin and did 2 books for them. And now I am with Yvonne at Midnight Publishing and could not be happier. I do trust the process, but I have some creative control over the process as well. And what Yvonne has done with the front of my book, I would have never thought of that. I love, love, love this cover. Everybody compliments me on it and asks where the idea came from. I said, my publisher came up with it. And so I have 2 books with Yvonne now, and I am working on a 3rd one. So just super excited to be here, and it's been an interesting path.
And to watch where you are now going. Ladies and gentlemen, what we say here and we live it. Midnight Publishing is a God-driven publishing house. He drives this train. We just follow his direction. And I have watched Sheri grow in ways that I don't think a lot of people understand. I've seen a self-confidence come back. I've seen a self-assurance come back. I'm seeing her go places with her homesteading and her gardening and her demeanor that wasn't there before. And that's all God. Every bit of that is God. When Sheri sent me the chocolate, before she sent me the Chocolate Lover's Garden, she said, Yvonne, I have a book. And it's been rejected so many times, nobody wanted it. Now, this girl was with Penguin. And we're going to talk about Penguin here in a minute. They didn't even want this book. And I don't know why. Because this book is absolutely a chat message. We have a chat message.
Yeah,
Nice.
I didn't want to forget it because it came through when Sheri was talking about her educational journey,
Right?
and it was from Bonnie. She said, "Wow, good for you, Sheri."
There you go.
Thank you.
And
So
I figured better to tell you now than to wait 20 minutes and we're like, "What was that about?"
I love the duck. That's too cute.
Well,
So what
I'm going to start using that every time we have
I
a
like
chat
that.
message.
I like that. So what Sheri did is she said, I have a book that has been sitting in my file for 25 years.
I feel you, sister.
25 years, ladies and gentlemen. And she was being turned down at every corner, every place. She was being turned down. Now that there was a lot of work that went into this book. There were photographs, there's history, there's gardening, there's patisserie, there's bakery, there's events. I mean, this girl put her heart and soul in this book. I said, send it to me. And she did. Now, while we couldn't use all of the photographs that her co-author took, and she took, because the cost of the book would have been impossible, we used 10 full color pictures. She wanted a coffee table book, which is an 8.5 by 11, and it's a big book, but it is worth every penny, whether you get the paperback or the hardback, or you download it off of Kindle. And Sheri, people are loading it off the KENP. They're reading it page by page, so you're getting paid page by page when they do that.
Wow.
So understand, ladies and gentlemen, this beautiful woman whose book was not accepted by Penguin, we got her and we're happy. So let's go back to Penguin, because before the show started, we were talking about the fact that you can't get the marketing that you're getting from us for nothing. Our YouTube channel is on YouTube TV. We're sold in 11 countries. We have 4 million plus viewers just on YouTube. Tell us what you told us before we went live about the marketing and the cost and what happened.
They paid for a publishing company for me, $5,000 a month. And I did not get $5,000 a month in book sales. They got me into Woman's World. They got me into some small newspapers across the country. But I did not get what I felt was $5,000 worth of marketing and sales. They also, when you go with a bigger publisher, you have to pay for marketing rights if you want to do something with your books. For example, I wanted to create a seed kit for Complete Idiot's Guide to Year-Round Gardening that I could sell, that was filled with winter seeds. I also wanted to create some shirts that I could wear out to advertise my books. Policy at the time was $250 to pay for marketing rights. They had to approve whatever it was I wanted to do, and I could only sell so many items. If I went over that item amount, it was more money. So not only did I feel like I did not get the marketing that I should have got for $5,000 a month, and the marketing firm was good. They had so many people, and Penguin did not push them to really push my books out there. My second book I did with Penguin, I did not get any publicity at all. And I do not know why. In comparison, Yvonne has said nothing to me about, if I sell the little chocolate trees, if I give presentations, if I make shirts with the book cover on it. I'm free to do all of those things. She helps to market and makes the reels that I can share, which is a huge, huge time saver. She is always posting about her authors online. You're always seeing it. And more royalties with Yvonne. I believe that my contract with Penguin, I got like 3% royalties or something. It wasn't very
Three.
much. And I believe that's what it says, and I never got a royalty check from Penguin. I did get my advance, which you do have to pay back through book sales, but
And
no
the thing is,
royalties.
the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, whatever advance they gave Sheri, if she didn't make those book sales, she had to pay it back. So if
Yep,
they
and they
gave her, let's say that just for the sake of this discussion, they gave her a $5,000 book advance. Well, if those book sales didn't average out to $5,000 in book sales, she had to pay it back. Now, this is a woman that has been with one of the big six. So she is a testament to what Mary and I have been preaching to y'all for 2 years.
Yeah.
yes, and I will say a 5-figure book advance, which is what I got for both books, was fabulous, but paying it back, I had to format my book myself so that when I sent it to them, it was ready for the publisher. I did all the photographs for my second book. The first book, my co-author had the photographs taken. The money to pay the photographer came out of the advance. We had to pay a second editor for the first book because our writing styles were so different, because Penguin pulled me in. They was getting ready to drop the book because she was not meeting deadlines, and they pulled me in at the last minute and said, can you complete the book, and can you do it 17 days to do 12 chapters?
Oh my
And they
gosh.
said yes, and they said, can you do it? And I said, I'm on board. So I wanted the contract so bad, and I wanted in with a big publishing house so bad, that I sat in my chair on a laptop. My husband brought me everything to eat and drink. I literally only got up to go to the bathroom and to. We had baby goats during that first 17 days. Our first baby goats on the farm. So I was running back and forth to the barn to make sure the babies were born okay, the babies were being milked, taking my laptop with me. So, um, so I could keep writing. And I did get everything done, but then we had to hire a second editor that was able to take both of our voices and merge them into one. So that was money out of that advance.
And again, she had to pay some of it back because the book sales did not meet the advance or go over the advance. And she only got 3% in book sales. Ladies and
Yes,
gentlemen, that is wrong on so many levels. And they promised her marketing that they did not deliver. So when I say what we offer here, this is a real life testament of what happens with the big six. Mary and I've preached it. I've been preaching it since I started publishing because I did my homework.
yes. And here's another thing: when they send your copies of your book out to the bookstores have the option to send those books back. And when they send those books back, that money comes off. Now, yes, you can order as many free copies as you want. And I tested that. I said, send me 1,000 copies of my book. And they did. They did. But guess what you have to do with that? That goes on what you owe them. It's free. They'll send them to you, but then you have to pay for them.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. So I
now,
had 1,000 copies setting out. I sold almost all of them. So
wow.
I learned through that you are your biggest advocate. You take your books with you every place you go. I have a box I keep in my car so that if I see somebody and I'm out and I'm talking about my books, where can I get them? I have a copy right here, right now. I can sell it to you. I can sign it. Well, what kind of payment do you make? Well, I have a card reader through PayPal. I take cash, you know, debit or credit or cash. How would you like to pay for it? Let's sell you a book right here on the spot.
And the
Now,
beautiful thing is, you cannot order from Amazon and get the author's signature.
True. True.
Now, if you've got the books in your car, and I'm like you, Sheri, I carry a box full of books everywhere I go.
Yep.
And
And here's
it just makes sense to
it
promote
does.
yourself. Because
And
what did
here's
Billy Bob
something.
says? You are the brand.
Yes. And here's something that I have learned. Because a lot of people will say, well, I can get your book cheaper on Amazon than I can through you. So can I just order it from Amazon and sign it? No, no, no. If I'm doing a book event and I'm doing a signing and somebody walks up to my table with a book, I'm obviously not going to create a fuss and not sign it. But if they just ask me that and, oh, I know you, I'll just order it on Amazon. No, no, you have to buy it from me in order to get that signature.
Well, also, it's been my experience, and I haven't been doing this as long as you have. I've only been writing professionally, books since 22. But I've already learned when people do that, that's their way of saying, I'll get to you when it's more important. I
Yes.
won't be ordering your book anytime soon, but 6 months from now or 3 years from now, I'm going to show up at your doorstep for you to sign my book.
Yes. Yes.
so Sherry, let me ask you this, my dear sweet friend, who I absolutely adore. Since coming on board with us, well, before I ask that question, when you asked me the question about a chocolate lover's garden or the chocolate lover's garden? And I said yes. How did that make you feel?
Very, very happy. I felt like a loose end was tying up. I felt very encouraged. I started giving my chocolate from growing to making presentation again and putting myself back out there because I felt like not only now am I going to have my little chocolate trees to sell and be able to give everyone a seed, because I do give a free seed to everyone who attends so they can grow it themselves. But some people want to plant. And so I take my little plants and sell them. But then I thought I have a book to back up my authority and to
Bingo.
show that I'm not just out here willy nilly telling you whatever. I have the book to show that this is my lived experience. And I have been to Key West to the Tropical Fruit Fiesta talking on chocolate. I had a man that worked on a chocolate plantation there listening to me, who talked to me afterwards and said I was absolutely spot on. And he thought I had been to a chocolate plantation and observed all of this. And I said, I have just learned and I have experimented, and I have a dear friend in Puerto Rico that has guided me on this journey. I have been invited to the New York Botanical Garden to speak. They actually wanted me to do 4 talks back to back up there. Um, I could not sell my books there, but they would order my books and I people could buy them through the bookstore and I could do a signing. But I could not bring my own books. So sometimes you run into that. I am pretty firm. They were such a big venue that I said, okay, you can order the books. But most events, I hold my ground on selling my own books because a lot of the small events do not pay well for the time and the investment it takes to do this presentation. And so selling the books helps, and the little trees helps me to bridge that gap.
So let me ask you this. When you, after, now, ladies and gentlemen, remember, we're talking a 25-year dream. 25 years, that's a quarter of a century. When you held that book in your hand, and I saw the photograph that was taken of you holding that book in your hand, you didn't have to say a word. It spoke volumes. Did your heart do flip flops?
Yes, I would have gone on my roof and done cartwheels off of it if I wasn't in my 50s.
I want to say
I
something.
wanted, yes,
The, you said this book was a 25-year journey. And I was remembering, and you were talking about, how knowledgeable you are and how people look at you now as the expert. About 25 years ago, I attended a seminar in Atlanta, and it was on how to build your brand. One of the things that they emphasized is if you want to be known as an expert in your field, write a book about it.
yes,
And that it just popped into my head just now, and I was like, wait a minute. I remember this conversation when I went to this big, I mean, it was a gigantic seminar, and it was very impressive. It stuck with me.
yes,
So I look at you and I see the chocolate expert. I mean, who did I contact when I decided that I wanted to start a chocolate ritual? I
yes,
contacted Sheri because I learned after my heart attack that drinking cacao is one of the best ways to heal your heart. And I'm like, well, my husband always called me the chocolate goddess. Now let's make this so. So I called the chocolate expert and said, where should I buy my cacao?
And again, ladies and gentlemen, this is a God-driven publishing house. Mary had a widowmaker in December. She wasn't supposed to recover. She was supposed to die. You don't recover from a widowmaker. Okay, everything led up to the heart attack. Sheri sending me her book. Sheri being the expert on cacao. The book coming out before Mary's heart attack. Mary understanding that cacao is good, contacting Sheri, using it as a ritual. All of this was God driven. And then Sheri went a step further. I love this girl so much. She sent me a message and she said, and it was very, very humble, very quiet, very almost apologetic. Yvonne, I have another book that I wrote when I was 17. What do you think? Do you think you might publish it? I said, send it to me. Well, honey, it's called Under the Dragon's Eye. That book will absolutely now this girl was 17. Will
15.
15.
15.
This book will grab you from the first sentence. No, it isn't about dragons.
No.
But I'm going to tell you what, there's a dragon's eye on that cover, and it will grab you inside that book, lickety split. That book is so well written. I had very little editing to do on that book. It was so well written. And as soon as the book came out, Sheri had people saying, what? Tell them, Sheri.
Yes, that is the book that I wrote in my creative writing class that got me a big fat red F.
Oh my goodness.
And he wrote on that I would never be a writer. Give it up, forget it, you're horrible. And it was crushing. I typically got A's and B's, and to see that big F was just crushing. And he called me up to his desk and he lectured me, and he didn't even want me in his class. I finished the class because it was a 1 semester class, but he didn't want me there. Did not want me there at all.
Jealousy,
Um,
jealousy, jealousy.
yes. And that same year, something that I did leave out, I won the first plaque for outstanding journalism in the history of Mississinawa High School.
Oh.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you what happened when that book came out.
Oh my goodness, it's sold.
People were going to Sheri going, we want more. What happened with the women? Tell us more. So she's writing a sequel. Now, Mary's got a chat in the chat message. What do they
Bonnie
say?
just commented, I love that book. We were talking about the chocolate lovers book, and she just said, I love that book.
Thank you.
I want to share something with you, Sheri. And I know we've all heard this dozens of times. Those who can, do. Those who can't, teach.
That is
Think
true.
about that. This guy was so jealous of your skill that he had to knock you down in order to feel powerful. Now, why would he do that to a young, emerging mind? I don't know.
Insecurity, lack of self-respect, lack of creative ability, lack of self-confidence.
Yeah, you either liked this teacher or you did not. Jeff's sister loved him, and he published a book every year in his classes, and she has one of her stories in his book. I honestly don't know if he published a book for our class. I do know if he did, my book was not chosen, which is fine. I never thought I would write fiction. And I've tried over the years, and well, you know this, Yvonne, and um I always felt like it was just lacking. And I have heard so many people talk about Under the Dragon's Eye, and people that Jeff has sold the book to at work. And when is the sequel coming out? We want more.
Bonnie,
And I'm working on it.
Another chat message.
Bonnie
Another,
just said Under the Dragon's Eye is golden.
Thank you.
and ladies and gentlemen, the Under the Dragon's Eye, for Sheri to write that book at 15. Now, I'm going to give you a backstory because many of you may not remember. During that time period, the mob in Chicago and in New York and in New Jersey was at its heyday. The book has that interest, and that's all I'm going to say, because when I read it, I grew up during that time period. I was an adult. I saw everything that was happening, and the mobs ruled. The Giovanni family, there was a whole slew of them, and you had the Italian mob, you had the Greek mob, you had the Irish mob, and they all ruled the big cities in that part of the country. And Chicago was really, really bad.
And that may be why this teacher wanted to put the lid on it. He might have had connections.
It could have been.
Yeah. Well, we have the Marcusellis that own the bank here and have for many, many years. My grandmother worked at that bank, and of course, we bank at that bank. So
There you
connections
go.
here too. Yes.
So understand that for a 15-year-old young woman to write this story in such a compelling and drawing in way, you literally are drawn in this story. You can't help but be drawn into this story. Sheri, honey, I can't wait for the sequel.
It, it's coming.
She got new baby goats. She got baby goats coming.
Yeah, well,
Yes.
priorities.
And right. And there's another thing that we do here. You heard her say that Penguin told her 12 chapters are by the deadline or you're done. We don't give deadlines here because we know people, A, have lives, B, things happen like heart attacks. Life gets in the way, and we get that. When I get a book, I get a book. I gently encourage my authors, just like a couple of weeks ago, we were doing this, and I said, okay, Mary, I need a book. It's time. You can't use your excuse of I'm still recovering. We're done here.
You're finished with your heart attack. Get over it and write.
Move on. Let's get back to work. Because what happens is we get in that rut again of allowing life to be our excuse for not finish healing by moving forward.
It's so easy to be frail.
See, there you go. So Sheri has been on a roll. Sheri has been super busy. I was honored and humbled to be on one of her Zoom meetings with her gardening folks, and I probably overwhelmed them. They probably hate me, but that's okay.
They don't.
I call it like it is. I was just honest with them. This is what you have to do. If you're not willing to do that, then why are you bothering? And I'm really surprised, Sheri, because that one guy that had a marketing business should understand about brands.
Yes.
And he kept saying, well, how do you get paid? Well, Yvonne doesn't get paid. Yvonne gets paid by the royalties of the books she sells that belong to her. My authors get, okay, there is a 100% base of a retail book from Amazon. When I go in to put my author's books up, it says, okay, how much do you want to pay your authors? You want to pay them 30%, 65%, 70%? I always hit the highest number, 70% I want my authors to have. They get every dime of that. Amazon gets 30% because they have the overhead, they have the paper, they have the printer, they have to pay their employees, yada, yada, yada.
They have the roof.
They have the roof. But my authors get every dime of the money that comes in for them. Yvonne gets nothing. And it's because my authors are important to me. Sheri didn't get a dime from Penguin. Not the first dime. And a lot of blood, sweat, tears, dedication, heartache.
And rules. How many
And the
rules did you have to abide by? You
Oh my
can't
gosh, you should see that contract. That is,
you can't put your own book cover on your own t-shirt that you pay for unless
nope.
they approve it.
Yep.
You can't make tote bags to give away unless they approve them. And then
Yep.
they cap how many sales you can make.
Yes, and that's why I wrote Penguin after a number of years when I realized that they was not going to promote my books, and I was always going to have this bill hanging over my head with the advance. And I said I would like the rights back to both of my books. And they ignored me. It took me a number of months of repeatedly having my agent request. And I finally got an email. I lost a book contract over this. Cool Springs Press wanted me to write a year round gardening book, but they had to have consent from Penguin because the two books were on the same subject. And Penguin was not going to grant that. And we finally got an email back from Penguin that said that my rights were going to be given back to me. Of course, I can't use the Complete Idiot's Guide title, which is fine with me because I don't like that. I know it's a big series, but I didn't like that title, and I got a lot of negative comments on calling it the Complete Idiot's Guide because people did not realize it was a series. But I can do what I want to do now. And I sadly do not have all of the typed manuscript of those books, or I would have already sent to Yvonne to have those republished under a different title. Um, because I would like to get those republished because there is still interest. People are still buying them. I've got to get it typed up to Yvonne.
beautiful. Send them, send them.
Well, you can send an abbreviated version. You don't have to
Okay.
send the entire original.
The books are probably bigger than this.
So make two or three books, and we'll make it a series. There's ways around it.
Okay. Okay. Well, one thing that I had done, um, and who knows if I could get in trouble for this because I was trying to sell the book. I wanted to do a video online course. Oh, excuse me. I wanted to do an online course.
Chat message, hold that thought. What's the chat message?
People find it hard to believe it's a free service from Midnight Publishing.
I didn't pay a dime. And I have got royalties.
I want to go back to something else after you finish your thought, so continue.
Finish your thought. You want to do a video?
I want to do a video actually showing and teaching people how to garden year round in Indiana. Because even after my books, after Elliot Coleman's books, who is the one who started all this research and writing books on this subject, there's a lady in Canada. I can't think of her name right now, but she also writes on year-round gardening. And after all this research and everything, people still say, you can't garden outside in the winter in Indiana. Well, I'm here to tell you, yes, yes, you can. Do you need tunnel houses and cold frames and things? Yes, you do. But it is possible. And if you have never had lettuce grown in the cold, snowy Indiana winters, you have never had lettuce because it is so tender and just like summer lettuce anymore. I like winter lettuce because it tastes better.
So do the video.
Why?
It's
I was going
better
to ask
to
you
ask.
why don't you do this? What's stopping you? Nobody has a license on your voice. Nobody can license your experience.
I am still in the process right now. We had a major overhaul of the property last year. The person I hired has left a number of things undone, including my tunnel houses. So now I am back to trying to fund myself out of my own pocket and find somebody that can help me move and get things set up the way that we need to.
It'll happen.
So,
It will happen.
yes,
Sheri,
so that's where I am. So I need to sell, listen, I need to sell 1 million of these books so I can get royalty.
how about we start with just one?
One book at a
Yes.
time. One.
One
Okay.
book
So
at a time. I would like to make a suggestion for you. While you're getting into where you need to go, before you can start doing the videos the way you think you need to do them, every now and then do a quick little Facebook Live of what's happening. While you're out there in the yard, while you're out there in the garden, while you're out there with the baby goats, just do a quick 5-minute live or 2-minute live and just get the interest going. You're going to find out that the people are really going to love it. They're going to suck it up. And then you're going to have an audience already built in when you're ready to do the more formal videos.
And if you send
Yes.
me the MP4, I will put it up on the Midnight Publishing YouTube channel and
Hey, you
on
4 million viewers.
There you go.
Okay, I am definitely working on that, and I know that it's not doing its thing right now because the camera's not moving.
That's
But I
okay.
bought a gimbal that just came yesterday, and I am hoping that it helps me to zoom in on what I'm working on with my hands and things. I'm still trying to figure out how to use this. So, but
Gimbals are
I like,
fun.
yes, yes, and this one has AI tracking, which I think is going to help a lot.
Yeah.
So,
Now I want to go back to that comment because who made the comment and why did they make it?
Which comment?
About they can't believe that we don't charge.
Bonnie
Oh,
Clark.
okay.
She's the only person I've got in chat right now.
All right. Address that, Mary, to the world.
Why doesn't Midnight Publishing charge like
Or why people
England?
don't believe that
Well, I
they
don't know
can't.
why people don't believe. I mean, we tell them every single day throughout the day, all day long. But the reason that I do what I do, which is, I never thought that I'd be doing anything other than whatever serves Mary, because I gave up my charity that I founded after 10 years, and I'm like, oh, it's me time. I'm gonna be all about Mary. And then along comes Yvonne. She says, would you like to be on my podcast? I'm like, sure, I love to be on your podcast. Next thing I know, I'm on every podcast. And it's mine. She suckered me in once more. Yvonne's been doing this to me for more than 20 years. She'll just throw the seed out there and it's like, oh, well, that took root fast. I have never, and this is what I told Dale when he asked me why. Somebody else had asked me, why are you not just doing it yourself? For more than 20 years, I've known Yvonne, and I have never gotten fooled or betrayed or misguided by her. I have always succeeded wherever I've been, and Yvonne was there too. And she told me her mission, basically. She said, you know, the Bible says we are called to serve. Nobody says that serving needs to be in a church or a nunnery or feeding the homeless. It just says our goal, our life mission is to serve. She said, who better to serve than the indie authors? They need service, they need help. So I jumped on board with Yvonne. I'm like, sign me up because, I got nothing else to do but have a heart attack. And when that's done, I'll come right back. And I have. I am so excited about when we do the podcast and bring on people like you, Sheri. You've got an experience, and I know that you're going to run out of time because it's like 10:15 now. You're not going to have much time. So we might need to have you come back. I really would love to do a show that is devoted to your journey with one of the big 6 publishing houses. And the thought that I had earlier, I wanted to ask you about your agent. Do you still have that agent?
Her recording has stopped.
Oh, okay.
Can you get back on, Sheri?
Her eyes are dark. Oh, there she goes.
Okay. Yeah, I had a phone call come in and I lost sound, and I heard that a show devoted to my journey, and then the phone call came and I lost sound. So
Aw. Well, I'm not going to go over all of that again, but I do want to ask you, I know that your time is limited with us this morning, and I don't want to infringe on that. But I think I'd like to have you come back and just talk about your journey as an author who has been published with Penguin and your journey with an agent. And I wanted to know, do you still use that agent?
if I ever signed with a bigger company, as in if they approached me and offered me something, most definitely. Most definitely. I believe that she takes a 15% cut, if I remember right. But the big publishing company contracts are pages and pages and pages of legalese that you have to read. Um, I would never sign with a big publishing company again unless I got merchandising rights. There is so much that I have learned, and truthfully, I don't want to sign with a big publishing company. I am happy at Midnight Publishing. But I also know that if I was approached, you don't look a gift horse in the mouth either. So, um, I that is the only way I would go back to her. She's really nice, and I appreciate everything she's done. She really fought hard for me on year-round gardening because they wanted me to ghostwrite that, and I said no. My name will be on that book.
Now,
Um,
you said
she-
15%. Did that come out of your
yes,
advance or does that come out of some other funding?
and no, that came out of my advance.
So again, that's another expense that had to be
It
paid
is.
back.
So they gave you 5 figures, which is a nice chunk of change.
Yes,
I don't care if it was low 5 or high 5, but
$100 for 17 days worth of work.
wow. But out of that, you had to pay your photographer, you had to pay for an editor, you had to pay your agent.
Yes.
Now, did you have to pay? There was something else in my head, I just lost it. Editor, photographer, agent. What else did you have to pay for out of that?
Taxes.
Taxes.
You don't get any reimbursement on the payback.
No, you don't.
No, no. So it was just, I had approached Penguin. I wanted Ariel Ford for my agent or for my publicist. I had heard about her. I know she is good. I heard that was who President Obama used for his campaign. I don't know if that's factual, but I wanted Ariel Ford, and they would not get her and pay her fee for me. So I did get, I don't remember the name of the agency, but they were in New York City. And like I said, they did do some stuff, but not what I would consider $5,000 worth a month.
And that
So
is
how much have you paid, Yvonne?
Nothing.
Zero.
Zero.
No,
I
you
have
didn't pay. You
purchased
didn't
my
have to pay for.
books.
You didn't have to pay for
Um,
editing or formatting or pub. What about the publicity she gives you? She's not giving you any publicity, right?
she's giving me a ton of publicity. Ton. You have no idea how happy I am for those reels that she makes.
That are
Because I
being
know
seen
all
by
of this.
4 million people.
Yes, and I know all of this needs to be out there, and it's a constant, constant, constant. Um, because if you ever hope to be somebody big and a household name like Martha Stewart is, you have to push, 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 push. And Yvonne does that. You do that. You share a lot of my stuff. My daughter does. And every person counts, because the more the people see it and the more it repeats, the more, oh, I need that. I got to check this person out.
Yeah.
And so it snowballs.
And the thing is, we have a secret weapon that doesn't even have a dog in this fight, that works at night, and every time y'all put something up, she shares it. That would be my daughter.
You know, Yvonne, you talked about the Budweiser commercial.
Yes.
I want to mention another commercial that really hit home for me was the Pepsi commercial, because they used the Coca-Cola bear
Yes, they did.
to advertise the Pepsi. You know, it was a blind taste test, and the Coca-Cola bear loved Pepsi. There were no words. It was just a little video. And people don't understand the value of, you know, with real estate, they say location, location, location. With us, it's repeat, repeat, repeat.
Yes.
We know the Budweiser Clydesdale. We know the Anheuser-Busch Eagle. We don't need words to tell us what that commercial was about. We know the polar bear from Coke. We know the Pepsi can. We don't need any words. We just need to see the images. So
Yes.
when we put these posts out there, and this is why Yvonne's always encouraging, and I do too, to join social media. Find a social media. You don't have to be on 21 different sites like Yvonne. Just be on one or two, but use them, exploit them. And I know, well, I know my marketing is working because a friend of mine called me up on the phone. She said, Mary, who is your marketer? Who's your publicist? I said, you're talking to her. She said, well, every time I see an ad for your books, I think, boy, she must be paying a lot of money. No, I'm spending a lot of time, but not as much as you might think.
And let me say something on that social media. So when the Complete Idiots or Guide to Year Round Gardening was looking for someone to finish that book, they actually contacted Tom Ogren, who is my co-author on the Chocolate Lover's Garden, and they asked him to do it because he had lived in Minnesota, had greenhouses, and then moved to California. Tom suggested me because Tom knew that I was doing it here in Indiana. And the co-author of that book is in Pennsylvania. So we have similar climates. And when they researched me, the reason they chose me, they had a list of authors. The reason they chose me is because when they typed my name into Google, Yeah, 20 pages at least. Now I don't know now since AI has taken over. I do know that AI knows who I am, and it is very, very important that AI knows who you are and what you do, because then you get into AI suggested searches.
Absolutely.
Yes. So
What AI says about me.
I do too. I do too. AI makes me out to be this grand person. I read some of that and I think, are that's really, that's what AI thinks of me. So
Sheri, okay, let's revisit what you just said. You are that grand person. You are that successful person. And ladies and gentlemen, that is what we teach our authors. Like Sheri, I was never good enough. Even after I got grown, I was never good enough. When my publisher died and I had two people say, "What are we going to do?" and I came home and had a conversation with God, he said, "You? If not you, who? If not now, when?" Little did I know that when I took this on, which was not supposed to be this in my mind, it was just me and my two friends, and we was going to get their books up. But God said, "Au contraire. Au
Yeah.
contraire. I got a plan that you don't even know about." So
yes, and
go ahead,
oh,
babe.
go ahead, Javon.
Chat message. Let's do the
Bonnie,
chat.
Bonnie just said, I love that after Sheri had said what she was saying about AI and Google. But it's, yeah, I would highly recommend that every author especially Google themselves every now and then. I like to Google myself once or twice a month just to see, what I'm up to.
It also pulls you up in the browser because everything is driven, and Sheri can attest to this, and Mary can. Everything is driven with algorithms.
Yes,
And what's
And
yes,
wrong? What is wrong with taking a screenshot of what you find and using that as a marketing tool? Because
nothing.
I do.
we are the brand. I
Yes,
am Mary Brotherton. You are Sheri Ann Richerson. You are Yvonne Mason. We are three different brands. Midnight Publishing is a brand. Penguin, Random House, they're all brands. Coca-Cola, Budweiser. But then we have products. Our
So
products are the books.
the so Sheri, what
yes.
were you gonna say, honey?
When you was talking about never feeling good enough, it reminded me of the day that Penguin sent both of my books. Um, you want to talk about boxes on my front porch? If you can imagine 1,000 books, all boxed and neat. I was with my stepdad that day, Larry. He raised me. And we stopped and I saw my books and I was so excited, so excited. And I grabbed one of each and I ran over to him and I said, "Look at my books." And he said to me, "I don't know why anybody would publish anything that you have to say, because just look at your yard."
Your yard?
I am a plant collector, not a landscaper. So grow this, that, and the other. I do a lot of testing of plants, and it is not by any means a formal landscape, but it is here. I am a certified wildlife habitat, a certified monarch way station. I do Cornell bird watch, and my yard is here for the pollinators and God's creatures.
Yes.
Yes.
I
And
knew I loved
I
you
don't
for a
give a
reason.
rat's patootie what people think. This is my yard. And there is a method to the madness. And the other thing that I have tucked in all of this is lots of edibles and medicinals that a lot of people don't realize, because we don't know where this world is going. And being prepared is better than being caught off guard.
So, ladies and gentlemen, when we tell you that Midnight Publishing does not charge, the only time we will charge an author is once they've sent us their finished manuscript, and all of a sudden, and they've signed off on the cover, they've signed off on the manuscript, and we put it up, and then all of a sudden they say, oh, Aunt Susie doesn't like my cover, I need you to change it. Oh honey, you're gonna get charged $50 if I have to pull that book down and change that cover. Or if you say, oh, I left out a chapter, I need you to fix it, you're going to get charged. If you tell me to pull your book down because you don't understand the process until you get educated in the process, if I put that book, number one, it goes to the bottom of my pile. And number two, you're going to get charged.
When
What
my
do you do
son,
about revisions or second editions, as they're called?
My love, revisions, second editions are not chargeable because it is a
it's a new book.
revision. It's
New
a new book.
ISBN.
It's a new ISBN, it's a new book, maybe even a new cover. I'm talking about somebody that has signed off
Yes.
and said, yes, go with it. And then all of a sudden, they get these little self-saboteurs in their ear, Aunt Susie, Uncle Joe, best friend Mary down the road, saying, oh, well, there was a mistake. I need you to let your publisher know to fix it. Random House would say, big deal, get over it.
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes. Because
go
I
ahead,
brought
Sheri.
up I brought up something in year-round gardening that I thought was a danger. And I was very, very concerned about the possibility of being sued if somebody did what my co-author wrote to do. And I did not see her side of the manuscript until publishing. I brought that up to Penguin, and they just, oh, well, if we do a second edition, we can fix it then.
See? So we don't charge. The only time we charge is when you piss off the publisher.
And
And
you
it
know what's
takes
so funny? When my son got his contract, he's reading it and he signs it and he sends it back to me. He goes, so mom, basically this contract is just to make sure we don't annoy the publisher. I said, absolutely. The contract says I agree to follow your process. I agree I'm not going to take it back. And that's it. There are no take backs. I said, you get it, son. But you'd be surprised how many people think that because we don't charge, that we're pushovers. We're not pushovers, and we're not unprofessional. We're not just doing this for giggles.
Not only that, but when that self-saboteur or your Aunt Mary or your Uncle Joe or your best friend Susie puts that in your ear, what they're telling you is this. They are not confident. It's like Mary said, those that can do, those that can't teach, they have a dream, but they're afraid to try to make that dream come true because they're afraid of failure. They've already failed because they didn't even put it out there.
Right.
The authors here, Sheri had no clue when she said, will you take this book and publish it? Now, this was in the beginning of the company. Sheri sent me her book in Google Docs and chapters with pictures. It took me a hot minute to put it together. We don't do that anymore. You have to send it to me in Word.
Yes.
But Sheri didn't even know if we were going to do it. And I said, yes, we are. She said, do you mind doing it in a coffee table? I said, said and done.
There's
I
one book
cannot-
we don't do.
We don't do erotica.
We don't do erotica because there's no need for it.
And what can you say in erotica that you can't leave to someone's imagination? Please, there's enough of that out there now.
Matt was worried. There is a character in his book that is overtly sexual. No
Right.
question about it. He said, Mom, what is she going to do when she gets to Nasan? Is she going to send my book back and say she won't do it? I said, no. I said, because Nasan is no more it's not graphic. You're not telling exact, it's not a how-to manual.
Right. And that's what erotica is. It's a how-to manual.
Yeah.
If you don't know how to by now, honey, you ain't going to learn how to with erotica.
Yeah.
I mean, call it
The way he wrote it, he said, well, I guess she wouldn't be too upset because she published Steep Steps, right? I said, right. And
Exactly.
you don't get much more sexy than that.
So, but ladies and gentlemen, and it's like Bonnie said, people don't understand that we don't charge. This is a God-driven publishing house. If I serve by charging, I am insulting God who gave me this ability. I don't
It
do.
becomes
I've been told,
transactional.
right. I've been told all my life, you're not good enough to get out of your own way. I do this well. I'm an expert at it. I have been taken by publishers. I have not been paid royalties. I started with Lulu. I've published my own books that were screw up. So yeah, I'm an expert. And I'm damn good at it. And I love my authors. And the thing is, when I ask my authors for something, there's a reason for it. When I ask them, trust the process. Let it go. That doesn't mean micromanage me because, honey, that'll get you booted quick, fast, and in a hurry. I've been doing this for 20 years. Back when independent authors were, oh, you're self-published. You're not good enough to be at our table. BS. God has taken care of these authors. He has given me the ability to do what I do. He's given me Mary that I cannot do without. And when she had her heart attack, I said, please, God, not today. Not today. Not tomorrow. Mm-mm.
Oh, by the time you found out about it, I was past all that.
She sends me a text message. She said, I just want to let you know I won't be at the podcast tomorrow. I've had a heart attack. I'm in the hospital. I went, what? She said, yes, a Widowmaker. I went, what? What? But here we are.
Hey, at least
Sheri,
I didn't stand you up.
No, that's true. Sheri, do you need to go, my sweet?
I do.
You have any final thoughts before you go?
I do. Self-publishing. I did a small book, from seed to harvest that I put up on Kindle back in the days when there was Amazon Shorts. That book is the book. It was a #1 bestseller for the longest time. That is the book that got me my second contract with Penguin to write the Complete Idiot's Guide to Seed Saving and Starting. They went and downloaded that book when I sent the proposal in and went through that book and came back to me and told me and said, we want the book. I said, well, I'm not taking my little self-published one down. So there is nothing wrong with self-publishing, and oftentimes that is exactly how you get the attention of a bigger publishing house, if that is what you want. But again, Midnight Publishing and Yvonne has done more for me than that big fancy contract with that advance ever did.
Thank you, my darling. I love you.
Quick,
I
I
can't.
love you
message
too.
to Sheri. Bonnie said it was so nice meeting you, Sheri.
Thank you, Bonnie.
So, my love, go do what you got to do. Can't wait for the sequel. Send me those books. Let's get them out there. We'll do them in a series. You don't have to do a great big fat book. We can do it in a sequence. That keeps people interested.
Yes.
And
I have a whole bunch more on my hard drive.
Do what, Mary?
Good. The smaller gardening books, make them more affordable. More people can buy them and give them as gifts.
There you go.
And I'm really
Just
excited. I'm so glad that I had this chance with you, Sheri. I knew that I
Thank
loved
you.
you. I didn't know that you were one of my soul sisters until we talked a little bit more. But this is exciting. I can't wait till we can bring you back on again. I really want to talk some more head to head, what it's like to be who you are and where you've been. That's what I want to get into the meat of when you've got more time.
And do your books in more than 79 pages so we can put them in hardback too. And we want to put them on Audible. We want them out there in all 4 formats. I love you, my darling. Go do what you got to do, and we will see you next time. We'll get you back on quickly.
All right.
Have a
Thank you so
glorious
much.
day,
Bye. Have a good
Bye-bye.
day.
You too, baby.
Bye.
All right, Sheri is leaving Mary and I, and we are going to talk a little bit about yesterday's workshop. As you all know, once a month, Mary and I do a workshop. Yesterday it was on, again, trusting the process and letting go. And I'm going to keep preaching that until all of you understand. When you trust the process from beginning to end. Because your job is to write me books. My job is to get them out there. Then your job is to help promote with the tools I give you. Micromanaging me does not work. I will send you to a small press. I will send you to a vanity press, and I will let you get charged whatever they charge you. I am damn good at what I do. I know this. Mary will tell you this. So,
Y'all,
yesterday,
I was the queen of not trusting the process. I was the princess of not letting go until I did. And as a result, I've published more books. I just got in my soft copies of The One Left Behind. And I had forgotten about the back cover. Y'all, this is what trusting the process does. I did send her this image, but she turned it into a beautiful, beautiful cover. I did not send her the back cover. Look at this. It carries the story. And it just... Today, I got the books in a couple days ago and I wasn't feeling well. But today was my first day to actually open the book and look at it. And I forgot that I had told Yvonne, do whatever you feel like you need to do. Because these are short stories and poems about grieving and loss and losing, you might lose a job, you might lose your cell phone. I mean, today's cell phones cost as much as my first car did, honest to God. And it was new, it was a brand new showroom car, but I got it for cheap. Anyway, I forgot that I had told Yvonne, do whatever you think you need to do with my book. I gave her the poems, and at the end of every poem, there's a little, like a parable or a lesson or, something to think about. She turned it into a journal. I don't know if we discussed that, but if we did, I'd forgotten it. But I trusted this. I trusted the process. And I'm just delighted to have this book. And it's 80 pages long. It comes in all 4 formats. It's Audible, Kindle, hardcover, and paperback. And the hardcovers will come a little later, and when I get those, I've got some people I want to gift them to. But if you don't trust the process, and you keep saying, yeah, but, or when she calls you and says, are you ready to send me your manuscript that you promised me 6 months ago? Well, yeah, I'm still tweaking it. How much more tweaking can you do? My son's been tweaking his book for 10 years. Actually, that's not true.
Or when an author is in... Now, let me explain to all of you on this open forum. You can send me your ideas for a cover. Do not send me a cover. I cannot fix it. Amazon is very, very strict about the size of their covers, and each cover has a different format. So do not send me a cover and then get pissed off at me when I say this ain't going to work. And don't send me an email that says, well, send me the requirements so I can create it. That's a no, because I don't get the requirements until I put the book up there. Because each book is differently covered wise based on the pages in the book. And when you send me your book, do not send it with page numbers. Do not send it with headers or footers, because I'm going to take them out. For the very simple fact.
That comes under the annoying the publisher aspect of our contract. You know, the more work Yvonne has to do to fix what you send her, the longer it's going to take her. And then when you got writers like me that, you know, I'm chomping at the bit to get my next book out, and we have to wait for you, we're going to get annoyed too. And Yvonne doesn't have any preferences. She goes first in, first out. But don't be the first one in with a bunch of requirements and nitpicky stuff.
Very patient person.
Bonnie,
what'd Bonnie say?
Bonnie said, I could never have created a cover any better than what you created. They're awesome. What I want to say, what about those videos based on the cover, Bonnie? I mean, Bonnie wrote Errol's Journey, which is based off of her husband's journal while he was enduring cancer. And every time I see one of the Errol's Journey videos, I cry because they are just so, they tug at your heartstrings. And I don't know how you do it. I don't even want to know, because I don't want to be like Gwendolyn and start taking over.
She's learning, and that's a good thing that she's learning.
Yeah.
But like,
she's young. She needs to learn. She may need to take over one day.
And the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, I don't have a lot of requirements. I don't have pages and pages and pages of contracts for you to sign. I don't say you can't go here or you can't create Merc here. You are in charge of your merchandising. You are in charge of your promotions. I just give you the tools.
Yeah.
However, if you keep pulling back and you keep saying, well, you know, I just got to do this cover, I'm going to pretty soon get very tired of it and say, take it elsewhere. And if you've been turned down by every Tom, Dick, and Harry chat message, it's going to be a slap in the face. Go ahead.
Bonnie said they're fantastic. Talking about the videos, I share them often. I cried too. I cry every time, Bonnie, not just the first time. And then when I see the lizard patrol that you did for me, I just bust out laughing every time. That is hilarious.
Foiled again.
Foiled again.
Ladies and gentlemen, I treat your books like they're mine. And I'm very particular about my books. Again, I've been out there a long time. And for those of you who do not know, and again, I do not brag on myself often, but this is a fact. I have been on international and national television 8 times with crime shows. My Silent Scream was picked up by a publisher in France who paid me $500 to be able to translate it to French and sell it in France. So I have been around this block. I understand the process. I also understand that no book is perfectly written. There's going to be things that get missed. Get over it. And if your Aunt Sally's bitching about it, tell her to get over it. I have read books by James Patterson and John Connolly where there were mistakes. In fact, one book I read had the same chapter twice. The chapter
Wow.
heading. Get over it. If you're that particular, please go somewhere else because I don't have time for it. Right now, I'm sitting on 5 books that I need to get out. I'm not going to keep redoing books because you found a mistake or somebody found a mistake. It ain't going to happen anymore. I'm going to tell you to get over it. I don't have time.
And pay me $50.
And pay me $50. It's that simple. We are done. Once you sign off on that manuscript, it is done. And if you cannot or will not send me the manuscript in a Word doc, that's on you. Because if I have to go back and fix things because you send me something because you don't have Word, it may get missed, it may not. I'm getting real
There are
tough.
ways to get Word. There are ways to get Word on your computer that don't cost you anything. There are ways to reach out to people who have Word on their computer and let them help you. But don't just assume that you can skip the rules and send it in an email or a Google Doc. Bonnie just said, say it loud. We shouldn't have to say it loud. But I understand that everybody doesn't watch every video and everybody hasn't been with us for the full 2 years. Everybody doesn't know everything. So we repeat ourselves. And
We have to.
it's a reminder for those who already know the answers, but it's also new information for those who don't. If you don't know how to do what we ask, the minimal, tiny little bit that Yvonne asks to make her job easier is you single space it, indent it 2 spaces. If you have to do it 3, fine, but you indent it, you single space it, Times New Roman, do it in a Word doc. There's not much more than that. There may be 12-point font.
No spaces
If
between
you don't know how
paragraphs.
to do these things, Google it. There are videos and documents that tell you exactly. All you have to do is say Google or ChatGPT, whatever
And
AI program you use. How do I convert my document into a Word document? How do I change my font from something impossible to read to Times New Roman? You just ask, how do I, whatever the question is, and there are documents that tell you how to do it. If you
And we
don't
have the requirements. Go ahead. Finish your sentence.
If you don't have the software you need, and you are a serious writer, you will find a way to get that software. Yvonne could not do what she does if she didn't pay for, I think we counted yesterday, 5 different programs altogether, 5 or 6.
And that doesn't even include the Microsoft software on 2 computers that are paid for separately every month.
Right. She pays out of her own pocket for all the material, all the equipment, basically, that she needs. It's software, but it's still like if back in the day they had to go to a print shop and do this. She pays for everything out of her pocket, which is why I suggested charge people $50 if they start annoying you. Bonnie says, gotta run. Thank you so much. Love you both. We love you, Bonnie. You have no idea.
And ladies and gentlemen, the requirements are up on the Midnight Publishing Facebook page. And when Mary sends out the contract, she also sends out the requirements, and it would behoove you to read them. In fact, we may need to add a line for them to sign saying they read that and send it back.
I like that. Let that be on the contract. I have,
The,
and you do this with every software. When you get a new phone or you sign up on a new website, there's a little dot. By clicking this, I agree to your terms and conditions. So we
exactly.
can definitely add that to ours. No question about it. As long as I remember to
And
write myself a note.
again, ladies and gentlemen, this is a God-driven publishing house. We do not charge unless you annoy the publisher. And as we grow, Andrea Dean Van Scoyoc, one of our authors, said it best. She said, y'all are going to go, we're going to go global. You're going to get so big, I'm going to say I remember her when. Right now, we're at 25 authors. 25 authors. And if each author sends me one book a month, that is 50 books. Sometimes I get 2 or 3 from Mary in one fell swoop. So
You got
you have
6
to understand.
the first time.
I did. So you have to understand, I have to have a standard. I have to have a structure. It's not willy-nilly. I don't have all day to go back and fix your books because you found one mistake. I don't have all day to wait on you to say, oh, well, I'm going to work on this cover. No, honey, you will go to the bottom of the pile. It's
And
just the way it
do
is.
not send individual chapters. Do
No.
not send one poem at the time.
No.
You can't get away with this with any other publisher. You're not getting away with it with Midnight Publishing. You send
do
a
not send them
completed
complete
document.
manuscript. And don't send them in the body of an email. That don't work either.
No, because when she copies and pastes from a body of an email into the Word document,
It's
it doesn't
gibberish.
translate.
And I'm not gonna, no, I don't have time. I am on this computer from the time my feet hit the floor until sometimes 11 or 12 o'clock at night. I'm either working on your books, building marketing materials, promoting, I'm doing something, building covers, going and finding things I can create in your face ads for you people.
And you're also finding industry information.
Yes.
Just like
Yes.
yesterday we talked about this class action lawsuit from independent bookstores that are being absolutely ridiculous and refusing to buy books from authors that have published on Amazon. For some of us, that is the only option we have. I've been the other direction. I've gone to a printer and I've had them printed out individually and paid through the nose for hundreds and hundreds of boxes. I mean, hundreds of books in box. Like Sheri, she ordered from her Big Six publisher. Was it Penguin? Not Penguin.
Penguin. It was Penguin.
Penguin. Okay. She ordered 1,000 books. But I've done that 3 times, and each time I get dig myself deeper and deeper into the debt hole, because now I have all these books. I have to sell them myself to get my money back. And with Amazon, we can buy one book, we can buy 1,000 books, it doesn't matter. But for these independent bookstores to say we're no longer going to work with authors who publish on Amazon, that's cutting off their nose to spite their face. And they're going to be sorry.
They're going to pay for it. Well, no, the thing is, they are indie bookstores. We are indie authors. I feel they should support us as indie authors, and they don't, because they're pissed off at Amazon. Amazon has been good to my authors. Amazon has been good to
Absolutely.
me. And the revenue, the coming back of blessings, you can't buy that. If I put a book up and it's the slightest bit wonky, as I'm going, and I have to go through and review that book, cover and all, before I say publish that book. If I don't like what I'm seeing, I pull it back. Before it ever goes live, I pull it back. And if the book is not within their parameters, they kick it back. They say, this ain't going to work, honey. You're going to have to go fix this.
Talk about
So
trusting the process. Cornfield flyers. I fought with Amazon for a solid year to get Linda Humphrey's book, Cornfield Flyers of East Tennessee, on Amazon. Because Linda did what I suggested at the time. She paid for a couple hundred boxes of books, couple $1,000 to have books delivered to her door. But then she couldn't afford to do this a second time when she sold all of her books. Lucky girl. But she said, can we get them on Amazon and sell them that way? I said, piece of cake, no problem. It was a big problem because Mary didn't understand Amazon the way Yvonne understands Amazon. And the funny thing is, that was Yvonne's first children's book. But I handed her the files. I gave her all the information she needed. She said, give me a couple days. I'll see what I can do. I might have to fight with Amazon. I don't know. 24 hours later, the book had sold its first copy on Amazon because Yvonne got it out there and put it up there, and boom, it sold a copy with maybe the first week. I don't know. I said, how did you do that? She said, I just know how to talk to Amazon. I know what they want. I know how to fix it. That was the beginning of me learning to trust the process. It still took me a couple months to actually get the message, but I know how hard it is when you think, when you've been raised to be an independent thinker and you've been raised to do it yourself and make do and figure it out, and because you can't afford a plumber, so you get enough duct tape to fix the leak, you figure it out. It's hard for that kind of personality to just let go. But you do.
And yesterday on our workshop, the first sentence that came out of my mouth was this. If you're in an operating room and you're fixing to have surgery and they call in a pipe fitter to do your surgery, are you going to allow that pipe fitter to do your surgery? That pipe fitter does not have the equipment. He does not have the expertise. He does not have the knowledge. He does not have the whatever it takes to do that surgery. You're going to call in a surgeon or not. I don't know. In my case,
when I had my heart stent put in, I would have been really unhappy if they'd have brought in a horse doctor, or if they'd have brought in a zookeeper. I needed a heart surgeon. I needed a cardiologist, and that's what I had.
So the point is,
you have to have the person who's equipped to do the job. And your Aunt Sally, your Uncle Joe Bob Jim, they don't know anything about, they might know art, but they don't know anything about book covers. And book covers are a different kind of art. But they also don't know about the requirements from Amazon. And they don't know
they're very strict.
about formatting. Oh, gosh.
And
which is why I kept having problems.
And I had a new author that we put out, and this author and her husband kept asking me these questions, and I kept saying, no, we cannot. And they would say, why? And I'd say, because Amazon says no. Amazon's not going to change their standards to suit an individual author. It's not going to happen. We play by their rules, we follow their standards, or it doesn't get done. And it's that simple. And they're not going to let it get done. They're going to kick it back.
Yep.
And they don't mind kicking it back. I don't mind them kicking it back. If I put a cover up and I'm going, this might not fly, my gut instinct is right, because the next day I get an email from them going, you might want to go fix this because it's outside of our zone. That's why when I have an author say, send me the zones so I can build the book cover. No, not happening, Captain. Because I don't even get that zone until I put that book up. It's that simple. They go by pages, they go by size, they go by whether or not there's graphics in there. And they are not, you just can't. So understand this. I don't do a whole lot right. Sometimes I didn't raise my children right, but I'm damn good at this, and I will take credit for it because God has given it to me. Actually, I give God the credit. I'm not taking credit for it. This is God's credit. But this is why we do what we do, and this is why Mary let go.
I had
when you're doing a children's book, don't send me a book that's got all this background busyness. Just send me the words.
Yeah. The words are what's important anyway.
We do the graphics. And we do the graphics without all of the background noise. It doesn't need the background noise because you want that child to focus on the picture while that book is being read to them.
I wanted to say something also about trusting the process with Ramonda. When I was inspired, and it was a definite inspiration. I mean, I got awakened by a spirit who says, hey, let's go write my book. I need you. And I wrote the book, and I sent it to Yvonne, and I said, I'm thinking graphic novel. And Yvonne said, absolutely. So she turned it into a graphic novel. Never in my wildest dreams did I expect to be having lunch with Yvonne a week later, 2 weeks later. And I'm just, I think she went to the ladies' room. I don't remember. But for a moment, she disappeared from the table. Probably to catch her breath from whatever I was up to. I don't know. So I'm scrolling on my phone and I see this ad for Ramonda's extended warranty on Amazon with this big banner across the top, #1 bestseller in new releases. And I'm like, wait, what? Quick screenshot. And then I scroll a little bit more. And at that point, I think it was 20 in it's one of its categories, which is children and adolescent asthma. I took another screenshot. When Yvonne came back, I said, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this, look at this. Because I trusted the process at that point. I let Yvonne run with the design on the, all I did was write the words. And the book just came together so easy. And Yvonne took it and made it magic. And because of the images and the words, it's one of Amazon's top sellers. You don't get that if you don't trust the process.
And the thing is, ladies and gentlemen, we don't use hand-drawn illustrations. Now, I know some of you just absolutely refuse to trust AI. We use AI as a tool. We use graphics from AI. And the reason for that is because we are trendsetters, not trend followers. Children, whether we want to believe it or not, even the wee ones, are a whole lot smarter than they used to be.
How many children under the age of 3 know how to handle mama's cell phone better than
Every
mama?
one of them.
Mama
Every
gives
one
them
of
the
them.
cell phone as a babysitter. Here, play with this game.
So
They're already accustomed to using AI.
we either get with the program or we get left behind. And we're not going to get left behind.
This is the 21st century, folks. I still love to paint. Sometimes I paint by finger, but I like my paintbrushes. I love to take photographs. I can remember there was a time when people thought that a photograph wasn't as accurate as a portrait. People didn't trust Polaroids. The picture comes out of the camera like zoop. What is wrong with this? There was a time when people didn't trust automobiles. What about the airplane? You know, if you want to fly, get in a hot air balloon, but don't get in an airplane. I remember when the Bright Line train came through here. People complained and complained and complained. You can't get on something that fast. Everything new comes with its detractors and then the naysayers. Not at Midnight Publishing. We embrace technology. And sure, we could do cartoons if we wanted to. But it's so much more fun the way Yvonne does them. They're more realistic looking.
And what you forget, ladies and gentlemen, is you use AI every day in your writing. You use AI every time you go on the internet. It's AI. It's all artificial intelligence. Your smart TV is AI. Your phone is AI. Most of our vehicles are AI. So understand this. When I put our books up on Audible, yes, it's AI. And there's a reason for that. I was approached by Amazon and said, would you help us test the beta? Yes, absolutely, I will help you test the beta. As we keep using the voices, they become more and more accustomed to what our authors are doing. Yes, ma'am.
I reached out before I gave you permission to put Steep Steps on with AI. I reached out to an Audible creator because I heard good things about him. I listened to his samples. I like the way he works. Very Hollywood, sounds like a movie you're listening to. Oh, it's great. And he's free. He will do his work for you for free. Well, on commission. He does it on commission. But he doesn't charge you up front. As long as you have a minimum of 10,000 followers on 5 different social media outlets. That's 50,000 followers. I can't compete with that. I was well on my way on Facebook until some Yahoo decided to hack my account and did something naughty. I don't know what he did, but I got banned. I had to start all over again with a brand new account, brand new email address, and everything. And so when that guy wrote back after like 3 months of making me wait, I said, Yvonne, go, just do it. I'm not waiting anymore. And he finally responded. He said, you don't have enough social followers for us to worry with. So my son, who's a brand new author at Midnight Publishing, has said, and we have another writer who said kind of the same thing. I don't like AI voices. I don't want to use them. I'm willing to pay somebody to do mine. And I told my son, I said, fine, if you can afford to pay for it, pay for it.
And they're not cheap.
No, because he's looking at $1,500 to $2,000 if he can get on their schedule.
And his book is over 300 and something pages long. And I'm going to tell you, I've paid to have my books done. I paid a company and I paid an individual. And I paid a lot of money, and I said never again. Because now I'm trying to get my books back, and I'm not getting them back. So all I did was reinvent the title and put them up myself using AI. I understand the desire. However, you also have to understand that just because you pay $2,000 to have a book done by Audible, you may not get a return for that investment. That becomes a liability.
Yeah.
I work in assets and liability. If it's not an asset, it's a liability. I cut off liabilities. I get rid of stuff that's a liability. We have an opportunity to get your book in Audible because people scream for Audible at no cost. Is it AI? Yes. Is it perfect? No. But let me tell you, some of the people that did my books, I wouldn't have them do it again.
Some of the people who read books for authors sound like robots anyway.
Exactly. No inflection, no nothing. So if that is your choice, that's fine. But understand, when you get it to me, it's going to take a hot minute to get it up because I have to put it up by chapters. It goes through a whole different program. It doesn't go up like I put up your Kindle book, I go on to Audible, I say, okay, I'm going to do this on Audible. It brings it up, I look at it, I like it, I hit done, it's done. When you send me your Audible book, it goes up by chapters. And when you have 50 some odd chapters, it is going to take me a hot minute. And you can't send it to me in one file. You have to send it in a zip file in 50 chapters. Just saying. Pick your poison.
Yeah. And
So, Mary, go ahead.
well, I was going to use my son as another example of releasing and trusting the process, because authors tend to be a little neurotic anyway. I'm the queen. But you can second guess yourself into a grave. You can overthink, you can over edit, you can over, and you can, there again with the Aunt Sally and the Uncle Joe Jim Bob. It's great to have beta readers, as long as you remember it's your book, it's your option whether to take everybody's suggestion or not. Because if you've got 5 beta readers, you're going to have 5 different opinions. And they might say, well, chapter 1 is good, but I think chapter 4 would be a better start. Well, then the next person is going to come along and say, well, chapter 1 is good, but you need to take the ending of chapter 1, put it at the beginning. And then somebody else is going to just tell you something entirely different. And then it makes you nuts, because if you've ever been told, like Sheri has, and Yvonne has said it, my own first husband used to say, your writing is a great hobby, but please don't waste so much time on it. And when someone that someone in authority, whether it's a teacher, a parent, a husband, a spouse of any kind, tells you something that chips at your self-esteem, you might brush it off and say, he didn't mean anything by it. Sure he did. And your ego is damaged at that point. When you send off to, and this is why I want to talk to Sheri again in more detail about agents and publishers. I sent my book, Steep Steps, out to more than 200 agents. Guess how many of them declined?
All of them.
All 200. That, I don't care how strong your confidence is. I don't care how empowered and vibrant you are. That hurts. Why? What's wrong with my book? And we mentioned location, location, location with real estate, with every publisher except for Midnight Publishing and every agent and editor out there. It's, you got to have the right manuscript land on the right desk at the right time while they're in the right mood to read it. Otherwise, it just sits there on the pile and or in their inbox, and you get a rejection letter. They don't have time for it. I can't be bothered with that anymore. I have a limited time on this earth, and my heart attack proved that to me. I've got certain things that have to be done, and I told my husband last night, well, God promised me I have all the time I need to get everything done. I just can't waste my time. So I'm done being frail and sick, and I'm not going to overdo it. I've learned that lesson. But you have to, at some point, let go and trust.
I'm going to swing back around before I forget it, because we're running out of time. Every time that I have to go in and fix one of your books because Aunt Sally found one mistake, understand I have to fix all formats.
Yeah.
So if your book is in paperback and hardback and on Kindle, I have to go in and I have to take the ISBN numbers and put them on those fixes. And there's 2 separate ISBN numbers. There's one for your paperback, one for your hardback. Then I have to go and upload on Kindle again. That takes time. That's why Mary says don't piss off the publisher.
It's unnecessary. It's absolutely unnecessary, because when you, now to my knowledge, all of our authors are adults so far.
Yes.
So we've got adults here who get the opportunity to approve their book prior to Yvonne releasing it. We get to look at the script, not the script, the manuscript. We get to look at the cover, and we can go through that page by page and make sure that it's right. And there are times that Yvonne will make a mistake. It's very rare. Usually it's very minor. There were a few more things that I wanted to talk to you about with the grandma's book, and I said, nope, time to trust the process. Just let it go, Mary. Just let it go. And I did, and I'm delighted, because I look back at it again, I'm like, yeah, she could have moved that one line down to the next page, but I see what she did here. I see why she did it this way, and it's beautiful. And when I can get a book that's on Amazon's top selling, not just top 100, number 1 bestseller in new releases, because I trusted the process, who am I to stop trusting? That's just dumb. God gave Yvonne, I want to say to me, but he gave her to all of us. And he blessed her with the skill and the knowledge, not just to know what to do, but to learn how to do the new things. She didn't know about these little 7-second videos until she found them. She figured it out.
And played with it.
She's new to a lot of this technology, but she's not scared of it. AI is a long, long, long way from taking over the planet. People worry that AI is going to be the death of writers, that AI is going to ruin the craft. It's not.
It isn't. When we use it right, we use it as a tool, and we don't use it as a crutch. And I agree, a lot of young writers go in and plug in a subject matter and say, write my book. That is not their thoughts. That's AI's thoughts.
That's cheating.
And I agree that is wrong. But understand, we use it as a tool. And with
Y'all
that,
don't know. If you don't know, you don't know. To make an image, I'm getting excited and I'm getting out of breath. And Curtis and I had a conversation today. Oh, Dara's here. She said it's great to have deeper understanding. Thanks. Dara, it's so good to see you. Um, it's a tool that we use, but when Yvonne tells, now I'll tell you back to this one. This image here, I created with AI.
I'll be right
And
back.
I won't get into all that, but I gave that one image to Yvonne. She made the cover. She made this back one herself. And she doesn't just say, oh, give me a back cover for the one Left Behind by Mary Brotherton. She gives it specific parameters and she tells it what she wants. And then AI gives her options. And she has to choose the best option out of that, which is usually a dozen or more. Or she scraps it all and says, nope, nope, this isn't what I want. I'm going to another program. And then she revises and reworks and comes up with more. Yes, Dar, you're the real gift too. Dar wrote a book called The Real Gift. And I tell you what, after that heart attack, I feel like life is a gift. But I know that Yvonne has to sometimes take one image and put it with another image, like with my Faith and Folly. She created at least 2, maybe 3 images, and then the way you did the back cover, I'm still in awe of. But it's just so fascinating. If you've never worked with AI, you don't understand how it's not just a plug and play thing. You have to work with it. And Yvonne uses, I think you said 3 different Photoshop.
Photoshop, I use I use 3 photo programs. Plus, I use 2 to 3, I use Adobe to look for graphics. I use Night Cafe to look for graphics. I use Grok to look for graphics. And ladies and gentlemen, I just don't pull down 1 or 2. Mary will tell you.
I was
When
telling
I'm
them that while you walked away. You get a dozen at a time.
at least.
And then she shares those with us so we can use those alternate images for marketing.
And I also use them when I do the 7-second videos. Now, you got to remember, every book cover that you have paid somebody to do, guess what?
They do the same thing you do.
They use AI.
If you have not been to Midnight Publishing's YouTube channel, go look up Midnight Publishing or look Yvonne Mason on YouTube. Go back, scroll back a little bit to the Christmas videos that she did for us. Fabulous. The way you incorporated Santa Claus into all of those videos and the books popping out of the bags was just amazing. I can't brag on you enough. I really can't.
And her Lizard Patrol, she had an orange tabby cat, and she sent me the book. We did it as a graphic novel, and I did a 7-second video. And the one she laughs about is when he's trying to chase a lizard. It's the book cover, and he's trying to chase a lizard, and the lizard gets away, and he goes, "Foiled again."
The voice and do I have that handy? I don't know. No, it's over there. Too much trouble to get up and go get. The cover of Lizard Patrol is just too cute. It looks like she took the photo of my cat and put him in his little military outfit, which was to die for. So he's sitting there with a lizard because my cat used to chase lizards. And if you don't know about the Lizard Patrol, it's 19 chapters told from the perspective of this little cat.
And there's graphics in that. It's a graphic novel.
Yeah, and what is so funny, and you might go, well, 19 chapters, that's not much. They're not necessarily short chapters. The book's long enough. But I had this cat for 19 years. I didn't make that connection until after the book came out. I'm like, wait a minute. There's a chapter for every year that we had him. And I just thought that was kind of cool.
What we do
Dar
here-
said, so fun to create and see others' creations. Yes, ma'am. Oh, Dar, let me ask you, because I heard a little rumor yesterday. How's your, is it in the box, out of the box?
boxed in.
Boxed in. How's that coming? I heard that the publisher asked you to make it longer. So, how's that coming? I'll have to wait for her to answer.
What we do here, ladies and gentlemen, that I can honestly say, through years of experience, which makes me an expert, is every book that comes to me is personal. Every video that I do for every author is personal. And we do 7-second videos because that is the attention span of someone who watches ads. People don't want minute and a half. They don't even want a 30-second ad.
Nope. Not unless it's Budweiser.
Well, that one I can look at over and over. They want a 7-second, 10-second top ad. Boom, see it, move on. They can scroll through 10 7-second ads in a minute. That is more potential for your book sales.
Yes.
That's why we say with 4 million views, 4,052,843 views as of this morning.
52,000 is a substantial number by itself. 4,052,000, it's a mind-boggling number for me. 4,052,000 potential buyers for my books.
Plus, we're on YouTube TV. And
Yeah.
you don't get on YouTube TV without the views.
No, you don't.
So understand, YouTube has been very, very good to us. I've had it since 2009. Again, you can't pay for that kind of advertising. You can't. You can't afford it. I can only imagine what Budweiser paid the Super Bowl.
A couple million.
A chat
Dar
message.
says, not sure.
Yeah, 12 pages ain't gonna cut it.
12 pages. No, you need at least 28.
At least 29 for a paperback. At least 29.
At least 29.
And that book that she has written is on a higher level than just a children's book.
Yeah,
more-
I read some of it the day that she sent it. It was kind of a bad day for me, but I read some of it. And I could see it for middle grade students.
Yeah,
and it was an excellent market to get into.
Yeah, and it will be graphic. It'll be a graphic book, but it's I gotta have more words. Sorry, Dar. It's just the way it is. So we are now at 2 hours. Mary is getting tired.
Yes, Mary's actually yawning. It's
She's
a little
yawning.
unnerving, but I'm trying to figure it out. If I can add a little idea for Dar, be thinking of middle grade students and how they are trying to not be boxed in by anything. You've got the idea of the boxing in, but also maybe a way for them to break out of their boxes.
And to understand that peer pressure is not how you grow. you learn to be not boxed in spite of peer pressure. You learn to march to your own drummer because you are your own person. It took me a long time to learn that, ladies and gentlemen. For years, I was everything to everybody. And in the process of that, I lost myself, which was not a good thing. Now I am perfectly happy in my skin. I am odd. I am strange. I am unique. And I don't care what other people think.
Well,
They're either on board or they're not.
remember from The Matrix when that little boy told Neo, there is no spoon.
There you go.
So maybe at some point in your book, there needs to be no box.
There you go. So
You'll
Mary,
figure it out. I have ultimate, undying faith in you. I mean, I saw you take an idea for Slouch on the Couch, just a little idea, and turn it into a book. And the real gift, that was phenomenal. So I know you can do very well with your boxes.
there you go. So we're going to close for today so Mary can go take a nap. I love you, my darling.
I love you. I love Dar. This was a great show. I loved having Sheri on. Can't wait to bring her back in. She likes our idea. Good. You'll figure it out. I know you will. I have undying faith in you. But I know that we'll figure it all out, and we'll get Sheri back on something. We need to have Miss Dar come on and talk with us.
March.
Today.
We need to get her in March. Next week, if C.R. Dunham can get his appointment rescheduled, he'll be on with us. The week after that, the last Wednesday of the month, Carol Bellavance will be with us.
Nice.
And I can't wait for her to come on because we had to drag her kicking and screaming into this family. And since then, she has put out this book. She has put out this book. And when you see the video on this one, it will take your breath away.
It does. It's beautiful.
This is just too...
She brought on Denise Winters.
Yep.
Who is one of the first people to come to our classes.
Yep. She is also bringing on her friend Margaret, who is doing a 365-day devotional book that she is about halfway through. So she's coming on. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I tell everyone, including my own children. When you are right, I'll go to the wall for you. I will fight for you till the death. But when you misbehave, when you are wrong, I am the first one to nail you to the wall.
Yeah.
Not because I don't love you, but because I do love you and I want you to succeed.
Sitting when you're spiraling out of control,
I will
say, Mary, stop it.
I use one word, stop. Just stop. And that's what I'm telling all of you overthinkers and all of you A-type personalities. I'm an A-type personality, but years ago I had to let go. And all of those people that like to micromanage, stop. Stop right now. Because it will not benefit you in the long run. It will only hurt you.
Yeah.
And I do not want you hurt. So with that, my love, let us close this show. I got to go bowling in a little while. If I didn't have to go bowling, I could do work. But I will do work when I come home. I love you. I will see you next Wednesday.
Yeah, everybody, have a wonderful day. And as Yvonne likes to say, she's already drilled it into me, may you have the day you deserve.
Absolutely. Till next time. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.